Our next guest is a highly regarded fashion designer who has started a nonprofit to help female entrepreneurs at the start of their careers, which has launched today in honor of International Women's Day. You may have seen her on TLC's Say Yes to the Dress, and now she's here in our studio. Let's welcome to our show the entrepreneur, creative director, and chief inspiration officer. She is Cheval. We have Cheval. Hi.
Hi, happy to be here.
Happy to have you on. I mean, you've succeeded in so much, and you're from California. Tell us a little bit about your story and why you're here in Sacramento today.
Oh, you're so kind. Yes, I'm formerly known as a wedding dress designer. Yeah. And from Say Yes to the Dress. But I have actually done a pretty big career pivot. I was still involved in a lawsuit where I can't use my birth name in any business or commercial activity or to publicly identify myself. And I'm also under a 5-year provision where I cannot identify to the trade as a designer in the competitive categories of my former employer. So I've had to change my name publicly and also switch my trade, which is now shoes.
Yeah, okay, that is a lot to take in. And I mean, like you were mentioning, you were one of the leading wedding dress designers, including stars like Carrie Underwood, Chrissy Teigen, and you faced these obstacles. You were mentioning not being able to use your birth name. How are you working to overcome those obstacles?
Definitely. It's good to have strong female support. I can't say that enough, having a community that just believes in you and wants you to succeed. Yeah. And so with our foundation, A Girl You Might Know, we just want to give back, pay it forward, and find ways to kind of fly over those moments of adversity that tend to pull us back. So it's all about forward momentum and manifesting your own destiny so that circumstances don't, you know, hinder your ability to succeed and create.
Yeah, and what advice would you give for the next generation who are starting off their businesses?
Hire a lawyer. Just be aware that chasing down your dreams should not come at the expense of your rights. And there are so many ways to protect yourself. And part of what we want to do with A Girl You Might Know Foundation is really provide referrals to affordable pro bono attorneys and negotiation curriculum so that you can be confident walking into any kind of boardroom or situation where you're negotiating for your future. And that's really where my story and experience hopefully will be helpful to people and not just a cautionary tale.
Yeah, well, I think it's so important that you're mentioning that because when starting a business, I mean, just getting it started is hard in itself, but when you're talking about the legalities that people need to consider as well, it's important to have those assets. What do you hope to achieve through your new foundation?
I feel like safeguarding the interests of young women and creators, especially during those formative years, is so important because I can relate to the mindset of, oh, if I don't do this, I'll miss out on my opportunity. And I ended up compromising a lot of myself. And I want to be able to share that you can stand up for yourself. You deserve and you are worthy of having a seat at that table and making sure your interests are protected. And a nonprofit kind of gives us that platform to be mission driven, make sparkly shoes, but also be mission driven in our steps forward.
Yeah, I like that so much. So you have your foundation. You mentioned in your career you pivoted. Now you have your own shoe brand. Can you tell us a little bit about your shoe brand as well?
Yes, it's called She Is Cheval. And cheval is the French word for horse. I've kind of always identified imaginatively with horses and unicorns. But really it is a sparkly step forward for me, and it's a saving grace. It's an area where I can express myself creatively and connect with women. And that's been my mission, is to bring joy to women. And now I also can hopefully provide some support in the legal world as well from my experience.
Well, that's amazing. And your shoes are flawless, by the way. I love them.
Thank you. I know, just a hint of pink today.
Yes. And tell our viewers your foundation, the website where they can go.
A Girl You Might Know Foundation.org was just launched today on International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to you.
To you too.
Yeah, so we're so excited, and we're accepting grant applications and donations.
All right, perfect. Make sure to check out that website. Thank you so much for joining us today, Cheval.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And for more about Cheval, you can also go to sheIsCheval.com.